here. Hello and welcome. My name is Ansu. If you're new here, consider subscribing down below. Today, I want to do the mid-year book freakout tag. This is like the oldest book tag that I've known. I've been on booktube for a little while and this has been floating around for years and years and years. So I just wanted to like sit down. This is like the OG thing that everyone does. I want to talk about the books that I read throughout the year up until now, so let's get chatting. Today is actually the 25th of June, so it's a little past the middle of the year, but I'm still gonna count all the books that I've read up until now, and I've read 46 books. My goal for this year was to read 40 books, and I'm glad. I've actually finished my goal by 6 books already, and I still have a lot more months to go. Reading has been pretty decent for me so far. Let's talk about the question specifically in this tag so we can have a good discussion. The first question is best book you've read so far in 2023. So the best book I've read in 2023 by far is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This is a nonfiction by Jeanette McCurdy, who was a child actress. She was kind of forced into acting, basically taking care of her family and stuff. Her mother's main goal in her life was to be an actress, which she kind of failed at, and kind of pushed that whole dream and aspirations onto Jeanette. Jeanette had gone through a ton of abuse at home through her mother especially, and she had a lot of eating disorders and she was suffering a lot while she was shooting all these TV shows and stuff, and she was definitely suffering a lot during iCarly, which was a very popular TV show a few years back. It basically really just talks about all the struggles that she went through before and after the death of her mother, and the way that she's kind of dealing with the whole situation now. It's just so painful to read, but at the same time it's something that I feel like everybody should read if you can stomach everything that has been talked about in here. She really does talk about a lot of eating disorders. She had bulimia. She was like forcefully puking everything that she ate. She would not keep anything down, purposely go and vomit everything that she ate. Like, she was really struggling and it showed, and it's horrific. A lot of things that she had to go through, and if you're going to pick this book up, definitely check the trigger warnings out. There's a sexual assault, there's abuse. Her mother was literally giving her baths up till she was like 16. Like, it's pretty fucked up. If you're going to pick this up, definitely check the trigger warnings out, because it's a lot to stomach. It literally made me cry so much, and I'm surprised. It's a non-fiction on my best book so far, but like, it was very impactful. The next one I want to talk about is a more lighthearted one, and that is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a YA book, and honestly I have not been reading YA if you know me and my channel at all. I don't really read YA anymore, and I barely read nonfiction, and those are the 2 best books that I read this year, which says a lot. But Lynn Painter has quickly become one of my favorite authors, and I fucking love this book. It was so good. Basically, you're following around 2 different characters, Liz and Wes. Oh, that kind of rhymed, dude. Okay, that's kind of weird. Anyway, Liz kind of lost her mom when she was in her teenage years in high school, and she's kind of grieving that loss. But one day, like when she was in high school, this dude comes back from like Texas, and she has this huge crush on him, and kind of strikes a deal with Wes, who she's been in a rivalry with. Like, she always has been fighting with this guy, and essentially they've always been arguing about this parking spot outside their house, and they were like, this is my parking spot, I'm gonna park here. They've always been fighting about this whole situation, and they kind of strike this friendship of sorts. Basically, Liz wants Wes to help her date this other guy that she has a crush on, and for that, to get closer to this dude, Liz essentially gives up her parking spot. It's their like friendship slash romance that kind of goes on from there, and it really talks about that grievance that Liz is going through with her mom passing away and everything, and all of that situation really just, it was very impactful. It was really fun to read as well. There was a lot of funny moments as well as sad moments. Like, I was crying by the end of it. I absolutely adored this book so much. Like, a high school romance is doing this to me. Like seriously, it was too much. It was really fun. I enjoyed this a lot, and I would definitely recommend you guys to pick this one up. I loved it. The next one is best sequel you've read so far in 2023. I know this one. Hold on. I don't know if I've read a lot of series or like finished a lot of series this year that I was really anticipating or anything. So I'm just gonna go for Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. This seems like such a cop-out to me, but like honestly this was really fun to me. This was one of the only books like I genuinely read physically quite a lot of and also it's fantasy. Like I haven't even been reading fantasy a lot this year, so it was interesting to me to actually finally get to something that I was really enjoying. And it has this nostalgic feeling to it, you know, that I don't have with any other books or like series or anything, right? So it's really interesting to see how I react to Cassandra Clare's work. This one essentially follows around more shadow hunters. They're basically just demon hunters, and it's set in like the 18 or 1900s or something like that, and follows around a bunch of kids who take it upon themselves to destroy demonic people, things. It's just them like teaming up and stuff. There's a great friendship story in here that I absolutely love. There's a few pictures that someone actually drew in here. It was just of these 4 friends just sleeping together. I don't mean that in a sexual way, but they're just like sleeping. There we go. This one, this picture. Isn't that so cute? They're just sleeping. I thought that was so adorable. Like honestly, there's a great friendship in here. Yeah, I absolutely love that, so that's definitely gonna be it for me. Next one is new release you haven't read yet but want to. Okay, so this one has been floating around quite a bit, especially this month. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't even know what the book is about, but literally everyone and their dog has been reading this. So I'm like super curious about it. It is called Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It literally came out like last month. Everybody has been talking about this. It is a fantasy. Again, your girl has not been reading much fantasy, but this is something I'm very curious about and I would really love to get to. Let's read what this one is about, because I don't know. 20-year-old Violet was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough-as-talons mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body's brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. Ooh, shit. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Zayden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless ringleader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wars are failing and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basquiat War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die. Okay. Oh no. Okay, everyone has been talking about this, but the 2 people that I actually watch a lot, like Tammy and Mel, they both gave it 2.5 stars. I don't know, okay? But anyway, it still has gotten my attention and I think I really want to read it. Okay, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Can you guess which one this is? Off the top of my head, it is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is the first time she's writing a book outside of the Shadowhunter world, in an adult setting especially. I know she's written outside of the Shadowhunter world for middle grade fantasy, which is really fun too, but this is like the first adult fantasy, so I'm very curious about this one as well. We have 2 outcasts find themselves at the center of world-altering change in the start of a vetting epic fantasy series. Again, I don't know much about this, I don't want to know much about this, but it sounds intriguing and I'm really looking forward to getting to this when it comes out sometime later in this year in October, so I'm very excited for this. The next one is Biggest Surprise. For me, this was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. It's so whimsical and cutesy. It's kind of too much at points, but it was really interesting, especially if you were a fan of The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. If you're a fan of that, I think you'll really enjoy this one. It kind of has the same vibes of it, where you have a bunch of different kids that you're following around who have magical powers, and witches are not technically supposed to live together because they can kind of get erratic almost, like their powers get too much and they obviously don't know how to control it because they're kids. And this woman rather, who is a witch, nobody really knows about her or anything like that and her powers or anything, but she used to make like videos on basically like social media like YouTube, and it just says like, oh, how to be a witch, how to do witchy things, how to create potions and stuff. But everyone really thinks that she's kidding, obviously. But there's one day this particular group of people essentially call her and they're like, you need to come to our house because we have witches here, kids who are witches, we need you to train them. And she's like, what do you mean witches? They don't really exist. But she still ends up going there and kind of working with them. It's a sweet story. I have heard really good things about it, but I really did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. And it was just a really fun little book. I enjoyed it a lot. The question, which was the biggest disappointment, and that was easily Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I despised this book. I don't know why. Everyone seems to love this, but this was something that I really did not enjoy at all. And that was so sad because this was pretty expensive. It was like over $30 and I just couldn't get into it. Didn't really care for the characters, didn't really care for the fights that they had, and also the main character kept going back to this really toxic relationship constantly, even though she was like kind of married or like getting close to that or whatever. And I'm just like, girl, like, what is wrong with you? This guy was fucked up and you're still going back to him for like whatever help or whatever. And I could not understand why she kept doing that. Maybe if you are like super traumatized, it does happen, I guess. But to me, like, I couldn't make sense of the whole situation and it just really bothered me. And I just didn't like this book. I really did not. And that was very disappointing to me. Favorite new author, whether it is a new to you author or a debut author, for me, it was Lynn Painter. Lynn Painter literally stole my heart this year, and I think I've read 3 books of hers already and I've been really enjoying them all. I still have 2 more books that are on my radar that I'm currently reading, and I need to like get through them as well. But like, I've really enjoyed her writing style. Her romances are just super sweet, so I've been really enjoying them a lot. So yeah, Lynn Painter for sure has been kind of a staple in my house at this point. Next up, newest fictional crush. I feel like I'm an ancient old woman at this point. Do I have a fictional crush? I don't really remember having one. Oh, yes, I do know. I'm not a huge like fictional crush person anymore. Like, I don't really care that much. If you're looking at books per se, it is From the True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. The main character in that, just, I don't know, it was just, he's like a sweet, laid back character who seemed to be very, very hunky and handsome in my head, and I loved him for it. There's this character called Connor who is a producer, I guess, and he essentially is supposed to be like this heartthrob. Everyone really loves him, and I was one of those people too. I adored him for some reason. I think he was like a very cutesy, lovable character, and I enjoyed reading about him a lot. And yeah, it was great. There's only one particular thing that he did. Like, usually it's like such a deal breaker for me when people cheat. But it was kind of like mentioned in this book and I was just like, ugh. But it was fine. I liked him a lot. So I let it slide for this time. Book that made you cry. I mean, if I can reuse books, I was sobbing. If I cannot reuse them, I'm gonna go for One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was like a backlisted book of hers that I wanted to kind of get through, and it really goes through like grief essentially. So we have our main character who was with her high school sweetheart and they got married, and he goes on this like adventurous trip on a helicopter, and the helicopter gets lost and it's presumed that he's dead. So obviously she has to grieve his loss and move on, and she gets engaged to this other guy, and you know, they're living their life. Lo and behold, one day this dude who was supposed to be dead has arrived. He is alive and kicking, and he's like, hey, I want my wife back. So it's them like uprooting their whole life, just trying to figure out like what the heck they're gonna do about the situation, and figuring out, because she has 2 different loves at this point and she does not know how to deal with it. And I thought it was so good. Well, it was kind of like, I never expect this to ever happen truly, but it was a really interesting read, and the grief that the characters were going through, it was really good to read about, and I definitely cried. Are we surprised? Book that made you happy. I mean, better than the movies, made me really happy, it made me cry, I loved it. But something that I really loved was Lore Olympus. I don't know why this truly made me happy. There were some scenes that were funny, but at the same time there's like a lot of darker topics in here, like sexual assault and stuff. Even so, the artwork is beautiful, and the character of Hades is just, he's funny character and things that it's kind of like portrayed in this book. It's funny, it's sweet, it's cute. I love this book, the series. It was a web series before, and now it's like being published as a book as well. So I read volumes 1 and 2 and 3. Absolutely adore them all. I think they're really great. If you haven't picked these up, definitely check them out. They're really, really good, but those definitely made me super happy. The next one is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I think I'm gonna go with A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This book is absolutely beautiful, and I've heard mixed reviews about this as well, kind of like Priory of the Orange Tree, where some people really loved it and some people were like, this is kind of trash of 800 pages, and I just bought this prequel. I don't know why I did that to myself. It's huge, like honestly it's such a huge book, and it's heavy, that's why I'm like resting it on my shoulder. But I think this book is absolutely gorgeous. It looks so beautiful. Why is the sticker still here? Leave. I'll deal with that later when I'm actually going to pick this book up, I guess. But this is such a beautiful book cover. I really love it. I think it's really pretty. Okay, and the final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I mean, there's quite a lot, but I'm just gonna rapid fire through them. There's the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes that I really want to get to. There's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldwin that I want to get to. It's supposed to be cozy fantasy and everyone seems to really like it, and I just think that I should too. Another one is The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I've read the first book. I kind of enjoyed it quite a lot, so I thought it was really fun. So this one is something I'm looking forward to. There's more. There's Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I honestly pre-ordered this. I still haven't gotten to it. The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. I heard about this book and I thought it was really a great concept and I just wanted to read it, so I picked it up. Haven't gotten around to it. There's Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. This is non-fiction. Basically talking about Matthew Perry's life, and I really want to get to it as well. I think it's going to be pretty heartbreaking and I really want to know what his life was like. I won a giveaway and I got an ARC as a gift, which was How to Kill Men and Get Away With It by Katie Brent. This sounds like a really fun book and I really want to get to this one as well. So those are some of the books that I want to get to. There's quite a few and I don't know if I can get through all of them, but I'm really excited for every single one of them. But yeah, that is it. Those are all the questions in this tag. I ruined my entire bookshelf for this video, which is, I can't believe I did that, but anyway. But yeah, okay. So I think I finished all the questions now. But yes, let me know down below what your favorite books were of the year so far and what were some of the worst books that you've actually read. I would love to know, because I'd spill the tea. That would be great. But if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Ansu. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified every single time I upload. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you all next time with another one. Until then, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Bye!